2 Kings chapter 15. Azariah king of Judah. Azariah son of Amaziah king of Judah began to reign in the 27th year of the reign of Jeroboam in Israel. He was 16 years old when he began his reign. He reigned for 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother was Jecoliah of Jerusalem. He did what pleased the Lord like his father Amaziah had done. But the sanctuaries of the hillsides were not demolished, and the people still offered sacrifices and burned incense on them. The Lord afflicted the king with leprosy, and he remained a leper to the day of his death. He lived in an isolated house, while Jotham, his son, was in charge of the king's palace and administered justice in the kingdom. Now the rest of the history of Azariah and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. When Azariah died, they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and his son Jotham succeeded him. Zechariah, king of Israel. Zechariah son of Jeroboam began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah. He reigned as king of Israel for 6 months. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, as his forefathers had done, for he did not turn away from the sins which Jeroboam son of Nebat had made Israel commit. Shallum son of Jabesh conspired against him and struck him down at Ibleam and killed him and reigned in his place. Now the rest of the history of Zechariah was written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Israel. In this way the promise the Lord had made to Jehu was fulfilled. Your sons shall sit upon the throne of Israel to the 4th generation, and so it was. Shallum king of Israel, Shallum son of Jabesh, began to reign in the 39th year of Azariah king of Judah, and he reigned for a month in Samaria. Then Menahem son of Gadi rebelled against him in Tirzah. He came to Samaria and killed Shallum son of Jabesh in that city. Having killed Shallum, Menahem reigned in his place. Now the rest of the history of Shallum and the conspiracy that he made are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Then Menahem seized Tappuah and killed its inhabitants, devastating its territory from Tirzah onwards, since they would not open the gates to him. He plundered the city and ripped open all the pregnant women. Menahem, king of Israel. Menahem son of Gadi began to reign over Israel in the 39th year of Azariah king of Judah. He reigned for 10 years in Samaria, and he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, for he did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, which he made Israel commit. In Menahem's time, Paul, the king of Assyria, invaded the land of Israel. Menahem gave him 1,000 talents of silver, so that the king of Assyria would receive him as an ally and keep him in power. Menahem collected the money to give to the king of Assyria by exacting it from all the wealthy people of Israel, 50 shekels of silver from each one. With this the king of Assyria turned back and did not stay there in the land. Now the rest of the history of Menahem and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. When Menahem died, his son Pekahiah succeeded him. Pekahiah king of Israel. Pekahiah son of Menahem began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 50th year of Azariah king of Judah. He reigned for 2 years, during which he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not turn away from the sins which Jeroboam son of Nebat had made Israel commit. His general Pekah son of Remaliah rebelled against him. He led some 50 men from the province of Gilead, conspired against him, killed him in Samaria in the tower of the palace. With the king dead, Pekah succeeded him. The rest of the history of Pekahiah and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Pekah, king of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah son of Remaliah began to reign over Israel in Samaria and reigned for 20 years. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, for he did not turn away from the sins which Jeroboam son of Nebat had made Israel commit. In the time of Pekah king of Israel, Tiglath-Pileser king of Assyria came and seized Eon, Abel, Beth-Makkah, Janoah, Kadesh, Hazor, the territory of Gilead and Galilee, and the whole land of Naphtali, and deported their inhabitants to Assyria. Then Hoshea son of Elah conspired against Pekah son of Remaliah, killed him, and reigned in his place. The rest of the history of Pekah and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Jotham, king of Judah. Jotham, son of Azariah, king of Judah, began to reign in the 2nd year of Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel. Jotham was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned for 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother was Jerusha, daughter of Zadok. He did what pleased the Lord as his father Azariah had done, but he did not abolish the sanctuaries on the high places where the people continued to offer sacrifices and burn incense. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord. The rest of the history of Jotham and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. In those days the Lord began to send Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, against Judah. When Jotham died, they buried him in the city of David his father, and his son Ahaz succeeded him. 2 Kings chapter 16. Ahaz, king of Judah. Ahaz, in the 17th year of the reign of Pekah, son of Remaliah, Ahaz the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. Ahaz was then 20 years old, and he reigned for 16 years in Jerusalem. He did not do what pleased the Lord his God, as his father David had done. He walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and even made his son pass through the fire, according to the hateful practices of those nations which the Lord had expelled from the land, so the people of Israel could occupy their place. He offered sacrifices and burned incense in the sanctuaries on the high places, on the hills, and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to attack Jerusalem. They surrounded it, but could not conquer it. At that time, the king of Edom recovered Elath for the Edomites, driving the Judeans out of it. The Edomites then entered Elath and lived there until now. Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, to tell him, I am your servant and your son. Come up and rescue me from the hands of the king of Aram and of the king of Israel, who wage war against me. Ahaz took the silver and gold that was in the house of the Lord and the treasures from the house of the king, and sent them as a gift to the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria paid heed to him and went and attacked Damascus. He seized the city and exiled its inhabitants to Kir. Then he killed Rezin. So King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet with Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria. And when he saw the altar in Damascus, he sent to Uriah the priest a model of that altar, together with the design which he had copied exactly in all its details. The priest Uriah built the altar according to the design the king had sent him from Damascus. He finished it before King Ahaz arrived from Damascus. When the king returned from Damascus, he saw the altar, approached it, and went up to it. He burned on that altar his holocaust and sacrifices. There he made his libation and shed the blood of his peace offerings. The bronze altar that was before the Lord he removed from the front of the house, from between the new altar and the house of the Lord, and he placed it on the north side of his new altar. King Ahaz ordered the priest Uriah, "Upon this great altar you shall burn the morning holocaust and the evening sacrifice, the king's holocaust and his sacrifice, the holocaust of the people of the land, their sacrifices and libations. You shall shed upon it all the blood of the holocaust and sacrifices. As for the bronze altar, I will deal with it." The priest Uriah did as the king had commanded him. The king dismantled the paneling of the stands, removed the wash basins from on top of them, took down the big bronze sea from the top of the oxen that supported it, and placed it upon the stone pavement. He also removed the throne which had been built within the house of the Lord, and the outer entrance for the king, in order to please the king of Assyria. The rest of the history of Ahaz and all that he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah. When Ahaz died, they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and his son Hezekiah succeeded him. The book of Job, chapter 1. Job's happy life. There once lived in the land of Uz a blameless and upright man who feared God and shunned evil. His name was Job. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, owner of 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-donkeys, and a large number of slaves. He was considered the greatest man among all the people of the East. His sons used to take turns in holding banquets in their homes, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. After each series of banquets, Job would send for his sons and daughters and have them purified. He would rise early in the morning, offer a holocaust for each of his children, thinking, "Perhaps they have sinned and blasphemed God in their hearts." This had been quite a routine for Job. Job's first trial. One day the angels of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came with them. The Lord asked Satan, "Where have you been?" Satan answered, "Going to and fro on the earth, roaming about." The Lord asked again, "Have you noticed my servant Job? No one on earth is as blameless and upright as he, a man who fears God and avoids evil." But Satan returned the question, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not built a protective wall around him and his family and all his possessions? You have blessed and prospered him with his livestock all over the land. But stretch out your hand to destroy everything he has, and see if he will not curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well, all that he has is in your power, but do not lay a finger upon the man himself." So Satan left the presence of the Lord. One day, while his sons and daughters were feasting in the house of the eldest brother, a messenger came to Job and said, "Your oxen were plowing and your donkeys were grazing nearby when the Sabeans came and carried them off. They killed the herdsmen. I alone have escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "God's fire fell from the sky and burned up all your sheep and the shepherds as well. I alone have escaped to tell you." He had hardly finished speaking when another messenger arrived and said, "3 raiding teams of Chaldeans have killed your servants and carried off your camels. I alone have escaped to tell you." He was still speaking when yet another messenger came and said to Job, "Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking in the house of the eldest brother, when suddenly a great wind blew across the desert and struck the house. It collapsed on the young people and they all died. I alone have escaped to tell you." In grief, Job stood up, tore his clothes and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshipped and said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be his name. In spite of this calamity, Job did not sin or accuse God with wrongdoing. John chapter 16. The work of the Spirit. I have told you all this to you to keep you from stumbling and falling away. They will put you out of the synagogue. In fact, the hour is coming when anyone who kills you will claim to be serving God. They will do this because they have not known the Father or me. I tell you all these things now so that when the time comes you may remember that I told you. I did not tell you about this in the beginning because then I was with you. The work of the Spirit. But now I am going to the one who sent me, and none of you ask me where I am going, for you are overcome with grief because of what I have said. Indeed, believe me, it is better for you that I go away, because as long as I do not leave, the Advocate will not come to you. But I am going away, and then I will send him to you. When he comes, he will clearly prove to the world what its sin has been, what the way of righteousness is, and how the judgment has come. What has its sin been? They did not believe in me. What is the way of righteousness? I am on the way to the Father, and you will not see me. How has the judgment come? The ruler of this world has been condemned. I still have many things to tell you, but you cannot bear them now. When he, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will guide you into all the truth. He will not give his own message, but will speak only of what he hears, and he will declare to you the things to come. He will take what is mine and make it known to you. In doing this, he will glorify me. All that the Father has is mine. Because of this, I have just told you that the Spirit will take what is mine and make it known to you. The promise of a new presence. A little while and you will see me no more, and in a little while you will see me. Some of the disciples wondered, what does he mean by a little while and then you will not see me, and in a little while and you will see me? And why does he say, I go to the Father? And they said to one another, what does he mean by a little while? We do not understand. Jesus knew that they wanted to question him, so he said to them, you are puzzled because I told you that in a little while you will see me no more, and then in a little while you will see me. I am telling you the truth. You will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn to joy. A woman in childbirth is in distress because her time is at hand. But after the baby is born, she no longer remembers her suffering because of such great joy that a child is born into the world. So it is with you. You feel sorrowful now, but I will see you again, and your hearts will rejoice, and no one will take your joy from you. When that day comes, you will not ask me anything. Truly I say to you, whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. So far you have not asked anything in my name, so ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. I told you all this in veiled language, but the time is coming when I shall no longer speak in veiled language, but will tell you plainly of the Father. When that day comes, you will ask in my name, and I do not say that I shall pray to the Father for you, for the Father himself loves you because you have loved me, and you believe that I came from God. As I came from the Father and have come into the world, so I am leaving the world and going to the Father. The disciples said to him, now you are speaking plainly and not in veiled language. Now we see that you know all things even before we question you. Because of this we believe that you came from God. Jesus answered them, do you believe now? The hour is coming, indeed it has come, when you will be scattered, each going his own way, and you will leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, for the Father is with me. I have told you all this, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have suffering, but take courage, I have overcome the world.